Hi, my name is Jake. I've been doing estimating for over 20 years. In this video, I want to show everyone what estimating is like, show some tips for what I do. If you want to learn more about estimating, or if you have any estimating questions, please subscribe and comment. And thank you for watching. For today, I'll be working in Ineight. Ineight is an estimating software, much like HeavyBid, Progest, all the other softwares. Uh, they all just they all pretty much do the same thing. Just the UI is a bit different. And for today, I'm actually working on a telecom estimate. I've already done the takeoff, and I want to show how easy it is to apply the takeoff into Ineight. So here's my takeoff for the trench. This is a 6 by 4 inch conduit with spacers every 1.5 meters, and there's a bit of bedding that we have to place, put in the spacers. There's a concrete requirement as well for encasing the conduits. So these are neat line quantities. However, like when you actually built this, you're gonna have the concrete pretty much just fill the trench up to that level, and then the backfill would be your backfill with the marker tape. But just want to showcase how easy it is if you have these areas built out. So this is 0.02 square meters per meter, I guess. And then this one here, is your backfill volume for your engineer fill. This is the blue for the concrete encasement, and then your total trench that gets trenched out. In Ineight, this is kind of what it looks like. A lot of times I see estimators do is they actually create another CBS just to deal with the trench material, the backfill material, and all this other stuff, instead of putting it directly into the line item. What that affects is you want the actual cost per line item in the line item itself. This way, your markup is calculated based off of that, and all your unit rates are based off of that. You're actually gonna be looking at a unit rate for doing this task. You don't want you don't want to miss any items that are critical for that item, and put into an indirect, which gets spread throughout the project. You want all your direct costs for that item inside that CBS item. And this is how you would typically do it. Instead of actually putting in the quantity in there, there is a quantity ratio that Ineight builds out. And this allows you to put in what ratio it is per meter. And so for instance, this one here, now this is a square meter quantity, so this is easy. But these are metric ton quantities, so you have to do a conversion to the metric ton. So technically, this would be assuming your trench around 2 metric tons per cubic meter, and this is your area of 0.38. So then this would be 0.76 metric tons per meter, and you're looking at around 62 metric tons of removal to get rid of the 78 meters of material. For my scenario here, the material is AL minus, so this is very clean disposal material. Now going to bedding, typically I'm allowing around 2.5 for bedding. So then you're taking this and you're multiplying that. So this would be 0.05 for the with the 0.02 per meter times 2.5. Concrete, like I said before, it's already in cubic meters, so that ratio is perfect. So you're just using your square meter per meter ratio to calculate this. And your import fill, same thing. I typically use around 2.5. So this being 1.4, 2.5, 2.7, So 28 pi 0.7, so 0.35. And I also in Ineight, it allows you also to add in some waste factors. Uh, if you want to do, you could technically do this volume and then add in your waste factor to calculate that ratio as well. But that's just lazy. Uh, but when you do this, this does that for this trench. So then all of a sudden now you have the correct quantities for each trench, and ignore all my unit rates here. These unit rates, of course, are just plucked numbers. They're not real. Uh, and this allows you to track uh, uh, the correct cost for this item inside the actual line item itself, instead of putting it as a separate CBS and then dividing it into the trenches, right? Uh, One thing I do also like to do, because sometimes I also see estimators just put uh, everything into one WBS under the line item. What happens to that is then you can't you're blending all that into one unit cost. And down the road, when you're looking at these costs on a historic tracking purposes, it's going to be harder because your disposal rates are all going to be different for each project, just because your trucking's different. It's further away. Even if your dump fee is the same per metric ton, your trucking is going to vary from job to job. Same for your import material. Your trucking is going to vary from job to job. Therefore, your these are varying costs for the project. Whereas your steady costs, like your equipment, your labor, and your productivity rates and that kind of stuff for this task is going to be pretty much steady. That's where you're going to look for historical data versus the the varying costs that you're going to see, right? So I always like to break that out so that down the road you have that historical data to review. Um, yeah, I one thing too I want to note is the there is a resource report. So for instance, this one here is going to run a report. Sorry, there you go. And like for this scenario, there's only one line item, so it doesn't really matter. But once you start building them out, you can run that resource report, and then you're going to see how much metric tons you need for each item, or whatever quantity you need for each item. So that's also a very nice thing to that Ineight does. I guess all the softwares does. There's a resource utilization report which allows you to view all that, right? So just want to kind of showcase that. Uh, yeah. So this is a short video. My first one for this series of just learning what estimating is like. If you like it, please subscribe and follow. Comment. Give me ideas of what you guys want to see for recommendations in terms of estimating tips and tricks. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.